do you want to go higher fat if you, based on your past experience, you feel better on higher fat versus higher carb?
2-3 weeks leading up to the program, I was on probably a little bit lower calories and quite a lot lower on the carbs. And while I do definitely appreciate the reintroduction of carbs in my diet, I do find myself a bit hungrier in general and more kind of snacky than I was even on lower calories. Do you know like why that might be, or if there's any way to kind of combat that?
Got it. So what you're saying there is that you were eating lower carb before?
Yeah, but more fat and proteins probably.
Gotcha. Okay. So first off, if you feel this is better for you going higher fat and lower carb, that is totally fine. We can definitely do that if this is your preference and you generally function better. Now, in terms of if you want to keep higher carbs, that is also okay. For what we're doing with you for general fat loss and the type of program that we are doing, the exact ratio between fats and carbs doesn't matter as much. So we're not shooting for very specific numbers. It is basically the calories are going to make the most difference there and provide you're getting enough protein. Then fats and carbs, I would say, are up to you. There's a lot of room for being flexible. So this is the first thing. Like, do you want to go higher fat if you, based on your past experience, you feel better on higher fat versus higher carb?
I think I want to stick to kind of what we've set up for now and try it for a longer period of time. I don't think kind of week and a half, 2 weeks is enough time to properly judge it. So happy to continue with that. But it's good to know, and I think you mentioned it as well in your voice message earlier, but like having a little bit more room on the the carbs and the fat will definitely help. Okay, cool.
Gotcha. Just going to comment on this because it's probably something that's going to be interesting for the rest of the guys. Why do you feel hungry if you're switching to higher carb? It may be just the switch itself. So you've been eating a certain way, and now your body's adapting, and your hunger is being regulated in a slightly different way. The amounts are going to be different. Maybe certain foods are stimulating more hunger compared to other foods. It could be the change itself. Now, I'm looking at your food log right now. I just want to get an idea of the exact foods that you're eating. So most of your carbs are coming from whole food sources. So I see banana here, cottage cheese. Yeah, I guess has some carbs. What's this? Axa, graham, scrun bread?
Extra stuff is it's porridge.
Porridge. Yeah. Okay. This is good. Oatmeal. Yeah. Yeah. Nothing too crazy there. Let's see something else that has more carbs. Yeah, that's in Swedish. I'm guessing it's some kind of a tree there. Isa.
Yeah, I mean, I probably get a quarter of my carbs from sweets, I would say.
Gotcha. Okay, it's nothing crazy. I mean, lots of whole foods, carrots, cucumbers, tomato, cherry, cucumber, tahini, all good stuff. Yeah, sure. You have a couple of trees there, but nothing crazy. So what normally would happen with some people is that once they bump up the carbs, they go into highly processed carbs that could definitely affect your hunger signaling. So certain foods may make you feel hungrier on average and less satisfied with the foods that you're eating. I doubt this is the case with you. So if you were eating a lot of breads and a lot of pasta, and a lot of grains and rice and a lot of starchy foods, I wouldn't be surprised if you tell me, you know what, I feel much hungrier than before. And actually, that is one of the reasons why with a lot of people, we want to limit carbs. Now, there is something to be said about blood glucose and insulin sensitivity. If you have a lot of body fat, probably you're going to experience some issues with energy and how you react to certain foods. And if you start crashing, you want to crave more carbs. So the fact that we're going higher carb than before may have something to do with blood sugar, but you're not eating anything crazy there. So maybe just an adaptation period. So for you specifically, what I'll suggest is if you're fine with the current approach to nutrition, so the current ratio between carbs and fats, and if you can maintain this overall, I would say, very healthy way of eating with lots of whole foods there, lots of veggies, lots of fruits, and of course, occasional treats, that's awesome. If it works for you, we can test it for another 2 weeks. And if things improve, great. If you feel like, nah, I actually did feel better on higher fats, we can make that switch. So when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to getting in shape, dieting, getting abs, getting muscle, I keep repeating the same thing, but it's not exact science. There's multiple ways to skin a cat. Everybody's going to be different. The diet that's going to work for you is not going to be the diet that's going to work for me. And again, what's going to work for you right now may not necessarily be what's going to be keep on working for you in 2 months, 3 months, and so on. So these things do change. This is why we're having these conversations, like you talking to me, giving me some feedback. We touch base again in 1 or 2 weeks, and then we can make those adjustments, because ultimately things are changing. Your metabolism is going to change. You're going to build more muscle. You're going to get leaner. That's going to affect your hormonal profile, hormonal fluctuations throughout the day, and so on. So lots of variables. And we need to find a point where you feel okay with the current approach. It's producing results. And as soon as it stops producing results, or we find something better, we can make that switch.